Hello and welcome to another episode. In today's episode, we are going to be talking about CSS user interface. But before we get started, if you're new to my channel, make sure to hit that subscribe button and activate the ring bell. That way you'll get notified every time that I upload a new video. Also, if you like this video, don't forget to give me a thumbs up. Okay, so let's get started. Okay, so to get started, we are going to open the same website we've been using so far, which is w3schools.com. You're going to go into the CSS section, and you're going to scroll all the way down to CSS Advanced. In here, you're going to look for the specific topic that it says CSS user interface. Okay, once you're in there, you should see this. And of course, we have opened the welcome page that we have been working so far in this course. And I have also Visual Studio Code open in here. So what I'm going to do first is clean out this code. I'm going to keep the 4 divisions that we created yesterday, and I'm only going to delete the text inside of them, okay? So let's go ahead and do that. I'm cleaning the first one. Okay, let's do the second one, and let's do the third division here, and we're gonna do the 4th division. Okay, and the only reason I'm keeping them is because we are going to be using them in today's tutorial. We are going to keep the same classes that we used yesterday. I'm just going to go back to my style, and the only thing I'm going to do here is leave the background colors for each div. So let me just keep the first background color. Okay, let's just keep that one in blue. I'm going to keep this one in red. Okay, well, this one was pink, so let's just keep that one in pink. Okay, this one will stay as brown, and okay, this one didn't have a color, so we're gonna keep it without a color. I'm going to remove the H1, and okay, let's add a background color for the last one. Just copy this, and we're going to paste this in here. Okay, there we go. And this is not going to be brown. We are going to color this in, I don't know, let's say yellow. Okay, let's do that. So I'm going to hit save. Also save to my HTML file. You do that with Control S, remember. Then going back to our welcome page, let's hit refresh, and boom, now we do not have any type of content in here. Although I gave a background color to each div, right now you don't see it because we do not have anything else inside of each division. So what I am going to do is probably add a border to each division, and also I am going to set up a width and height. Okay, so let's do that. We're going to add a border. Let's do a border. And what I'm going to do is, let's say the border is going to be 100 pixels. And I'm going to add the same border to all 4 of them, okay? Let's do this, copy, and we're going to paste this in all 4 divisions. Okay, after adding the border, now I am going to add something else. We're going to add a padding. Okay, and let's keep this a padding of 10 pixels. And then we are going to add a width, and let's make this width be 300 pixels. And this border, we're going to make it solid to all 4 of them. Okay, so let's just make that solid. Let me go ahead and hit save. Going back to our welcome page, let's hit refresh, and boom, now we have a division here. Although the blue portion, which is the background color of this div, is kind of small, so we are going to change that. Okay, let's just make this border be only 10 pixels as well. Okay, so let's hit save. I'm gonna hit refresh, and yeah, that looks better, but I want to change the width here. Let's make this 500 pixels. Whoops. Okay, there you go. Let's hit save, and now let's hit refresh. Okay, 500 pixels. Yeah, so you can see that bigger. And we're going to add a height to this. Let's do a height of 500 pixels as well. So let's hit save, refresh, and there you go. We have a height of 100 pixels. Now this one is going to be too big because we have 4 divs, so I'm going to change this to 100. So let's hit save and then refresh. There you go. So now we have our first division with some style. So I'm going to copy all the style, and I am going to simply paste this to example number 2. I'll also change the border on each of the other 2 divisions, and I'll paste the exact same style to all 4 of them. Okay, so we're gonna do that. Let's hit save. Let's hit refresh. There you go. So as you can see now, we have 1, 2, 3, 4. We have 4 divisions here. So what are we gonna do with this? We're going to use them to study the CSS user interface. So just so you can have a little bit more control of your user interface when creating a website, you need to be aware of these 2 properties. The ones that we're going to be taking a look at today will be the resize property and also the outline offset property. So let's start with resize. So what is the resize property? As you can see here, the resize property specifies if and how an element should be resizable by the user. So here on W3 Schools, you see an example of a division. So you see here this corner, you can drag it and you can make it small, and you can also make it big. You do this with the resize property. So if in case you want to add something like this in one of your customers' website, you can definitely do that. So let's go ahead and experiment a little bit with this. First, we're going to use to our first division, the resize property, and we're gonna make it go horizontal, okay? So going back here to our first example, I'm going to use the resize property, and I'm going to use horizontal. Now also with this property, you have to use the overflow property to make it go automatically, okay? So we're going to use the overflow property, so that way the behavior is going to be automatic when we resize, when we use the resize property, right? So we're going to set this as auto, and we're going to hit save. So on example number 1, right now we cannot do anything with it. It's not resizable. As soon as I hit refresh, you see now this portion right here, now we have kind of like an arrow looking at the right and the left. That means that you can resize this box to the right or to the left horizontally, okay? So that's how you use the resize property. Now you can not only do it horizontal, you can also make it go vertical. So I'm going to copy the same properties, copy them here, and we're going to use example 2 to show you this. So instead of going horizontal, now we're going to set this up to vertical, okay? So we're going to resize it and make it go vertical. So I'm going to hit save here, and now I'm going to hit refresh, and this is going to affect the second division, okay? So let's hit refresh, and you see now we have the arrows going up and down. So now we can do this vertical, up and down, up and down. There you go. And then one last thing that I want to show you with the resize property is that you can also set it up to both. Either if you want to do it horizontal or if you want to do it vertical, you can allow the user to do that as well. Let's copy this and let me show you with example number 3. So I am going to change this. Instead of going vertical, we're going to set it up to both, okay? So I'm going to hit save, going back here. Right now we cannot do anything with the division number 3. As soon as I hit refresh, now we are able to resize this. And now you see how the arrow is going into kind of like a different position. It's not up and down, it's not left or right. Now it's going to all sizes. So if you can go ahead and actually move this around and it'll go wherever you want, either horizontal or vertical. So that's how a user will be able to control this, okay? So those are one of the things that you want your user to be able to do sometimes in some websites. So I hope this property helps you out a lot. That way you are able to let the user control different divisions of and different elements of your website. Okay, so the second property we want to take a look at today is the outline offset property. Now, the outline offset property, it's a property that it's pretty much going to let you add a little bit of space between the outline and the edge or the border, right, of an element, like it says here. Because you can control the border like we did right now here, right? We added a border, but this border is of the element. You cannot add a border outside of that element. So in order to do that, you're going to be using the CSS outline offset property. Okay, so now let's go ahead and take a look in how the outline offset property works. So for that, we're going to use example division number 4. Okay, now the first thing I want to do here is add a margin to this division, just so you can see a little bit better how the offset property will work. So let's say that I'll give a margin of 30 pixels, okay? Let's go ahead and save this. Going back to our code, let's hit refresh. Okay, so now we have given a margin to this specific division. Now, going back to our code, we want to set up first the color of the border of this outline, which is going to be outside of the elements border. So let's go ahead and do outline, use the outline property, and now we are going to set up, let's say, I don't know, 10 pixels, and we're going to make this solid, and then we're going to make it in color blue. Okay, now let's hit save. I'm not going to refresh this just yet because we're going to also use the outline offset property, and we're going to make it 10 pixels. Okay, so I'm going to hit save. Going back to our code, now I will hit refresh, and boom. You see, now we have a border outside of our elements border. And that's as simple as you can use the outline offset property. If in case you want to add some type of space or outline to a space outside of your elements border, you can use this property to do so. And sometimes you will use this a lot when you're creating websites, okay? So I hope this was clear enough. Remember that if you have questions, you can leave them in the comment section below and I will answer them as soon as I can. Also, if you like this video, don't forget to give me a thumbs up. And if you're new to my channel, remember to hit that subscribe button. And remember that you can always ask Lixi. Bye everyone, and see you again in the next episode.